Next question. Would love to hear tips for moving to wake up earlier. Alarms and not disturbing your spouse, keeping alert throughout the day. When you wake up early, these are things. So tips for managing the implications around making that change to get up earlier while keeping the space or keeping the speed or keeping the peace at home and work and worky. Did you put that?
I did not put that.
Work.
He had some. He either made a typo or he's on the inside with the.
What that is that's an homage to the Portuguese accent.
Yes.
Brazil.
Well, no, it's a homage to the fake Portuguese accent.
No, it's the real one.
Worky?
Yeah. Well, anything adding like E at the end, like it'll come out. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It can be exaggerated though by certain people.
Right.
Myself included.
Yeah.
Okay, so how to wake up in the morning. Number one, let's talk about one important piece. This: how do you do it without disturbing the spouse? Because we don't want to make the spouse angry.
No adversarial relationships with the spouse
at
4:30.
No, not at 4:30. So one of the things, real easy one out of the gate, get an escalating alarm. So what that means is it starts off quiet.
Sure.
And it gets louder. It gets progressively louder. I am a much lighter sleeper than my wife. So this is not that big of a deal to me. And I can't answer. I've slept with roommates that wanted to sleep, like in the military, you got bunk together or whatever. So I've dealt with this a little bit, but it's really no factor. Get an escalating alarm. And then when that thing goes off, you wake up before it gets too loud to wake your spouse. It should be on your side of the bed so you can make it happen. Or you can pick a song that starts off nice and mellow and that kind of builds. And for a long time, for this particular reason, I used to have, there's a band called The Sword.
Sure.
And they have a song called Iron Swan. And it starts off nice and mellow. And if you don't get up in time, it's coming. So you gotta.
So it's like a kind of like a game within the game right there, where you got to beat the clock too.
Yes, you got to beat the clock. You got to get up and turn that thing, because otherwise it's and then you're too late.
What is it? Black Swan?
No, Iron Swan.
Iron Swan.
It's The Sword.
By The Sword. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's times in my life where I will put like the ultimate shocker of a tune in my playlist that if I need to get up and I need to get up and get on it, like there's a song called Repeat Process by 100 Demons. That song will get you out of bed. It will get you out of bed. When it kicks in, it just comes. It's like an explosion happens in your room.
There you go.
And it's a great song by a great band. But anyways, but in this case, you don't want to go with 100 Demons.
No.
You don't want to go with Repeat Process. You want to go with The Sword, Iron Swan, or an escalating alarm. Now, once you do that, you got to have the gear pre-staged. The morning gear has to be pre-staged. So, so we're not in the dressing. We're not pulling open drawers. We're not flipping on lights. We're not searching for stuff. No, we get up. We walk out of the room.
Yeah.
Quietly. Stealth mode. Then you get to either the bathroom. Now, if you have the bathroom en suite, maybe you have some stuff staged in the other bathroom in the house. So you just walk right out of the room, shut the door, and you're good. You made your escape.
Yep.
And I'll tell you another thing. Little heads up. Make sure that you that you turn off your secondary and your tertiary alarms. So if you're like me and you sleep with multiple alarm clocks, if you leave, because they go off sequentially, right? You got your first one, iPhone. Then you got your second one, battery powered. Then you got your third one, wind up. The wind up is the gnarly last one with the right. If you leave that thing, if you forget to shut that thing off before you walk out, you can hear about it. You can hear about it because now when it goes off, it's a startler because it doesn't go off. I mean, 50% of the time I'm up before the alarms. But if you leave that one on there, it's a startler, and then your spouse is waking up in a panic mode because now they don't know where it is. There's effort. They're being attacked. It's a gnarly situation. So shut off the secondary and tertiary alarms, and then get out of the room. And then maybe you even have your toothbrush and your toothpaste staged in another bathroom or in the kitchen or whatever. You got your workout gears not in a drawer by the bed where you're pulling that open, making that racket. No, you just get up and you leave. So then that's how you do it. That's how I do it. And again, I have an advantage because my wife is a pretty heavy sleeper. She gets mad that when I come home from a trip late at night, I do some unpacking in the night. That can be a little frustrating for her. But anyways, that's what you do. Now, the next piece of this question was for alertness throughout the day. What do you do to stay alert throughout the day? I think one of the things you got to do is check your diet, right? Check the diet. Make sure, in my opinion, make sure you're not ingesting a ton of carbohydrates, because those are going to make you tired. They're going to make you excited or make you fired up for about 20 minutes. I don't know. Haven't had them in a long time.
For like 20 minutes before you eat them. Like right when you... Actually, that's really what they're for.
Yeah.
Or like,
instant energy, yeah.
Yeah, so, well, and they put you to sleep. So when you eat it, it's basically the really basic sequence is I'm going to do some output. You know, in the wild, I'm going to go hunting, I'm going to gather, whatever. Do some output. That expended some energy. I'm going to need some energy, and I'm going to need some rest. When you get the energy, carbohydrates, food, in any way, serotonin, all these other chemicals that induce you to go rest. That's the sequence. That's the process.
Don't forget about insulin.
Yeah.
Because the insulin also makes the insulin's going to make you tired too. So check your diet. Check your diet. I just had a guy on Twitter. Oh man, he's like, hey man, I'm tired during the day. I'm dragging. I was like, well, we'll check your diet. And he's like, well, I think it's okay. I'm drinking a lot of energy drinks. No, not good. The energy drinks are addictive.
Yeah,
they're tasty. They're addictive, and they're filled with sugar most of the time. So you're going to get a major sugar rush, and then you're going to crash. So you got to be careful of that. Also, you don't want to be on the crazy amount of caffeine all day, and that's going to mess up your system as well.
It does the same thing as the sugar, the caffeine rush, and then the crash. That's the same thing. Even more than sugar.
Yeah, and well, I'll tell you right now. People ask me all the time, and they're surprised that I work out without caffeine in the morning. But I'm telling you, give it a try.
Yeah.
Because it'll be harder. Maybe it's harder for you to get out of bed. Maybe it's harder for you to get ready. Maybe it's harder for you to get into the gym with no caffeine. And maybe it's harder for you to start your workout with no caffeine. But once you start the workout, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And if it is, good. Make your workout harder. You know, I don't think it's that big of a deal. So don't become addicted to the caffeine, and that's going to be, because that can get problematic. And then power nap, talked about this before. If you need to, you take a little power nap. You take 6 to 8 minutes, you set your alarm clock, you elevate your feet above your heart, you lay down, and you black out. If you're really tired, 6 to 8 minutes, you feel like a rock star after one of those.
Yep. Agree.
And another thing you can do if you're tired during the day, no big deal. Just find a little corner somewhere. Go bang some push-ups out. Go bang out 10 burpees.
Yeah. Get the blood flowing.
Just get the blood flowing.
Yeah.
There's no way. It's physiologically impossible to do burpees and remain tired. Whatever burpees you can tell you since you turned into a physiology major over here tonight. If you want to tell me what that does physiologically, I don't know, but I do know this. If you knock out 10 burpees, it's a small prescription, you will not be tired for at least a half an hour. Yep. You're not going to be 10 burpees and then feel tired. You can't do it.
I can tell you why physiologically.
Endorphins get released.
Other stuff. Adrenaline. Like when you know you're going to do physical activity, when you know it, you have I'm not saying a huge adrenaline rush.
Just a little
you
dump.
get an adrenaline rush, yeah. A little bit. It's still going. It's part of it.
So those are some tips, I guess, for alertness throughout the day that I use.
Yeah, there you go.
And for getting out of bed early in the morning. Hey, and by the way, go to bed earlier at night.
Yeah.
Go to bed earlier at night. I go to bed usually around 11. I don't recommend that. I don't recommend going to bed at 11 and getting up at 4:30. No, I don't recommend that. I recommend going to bed when you get tired. Shut your computer off. Stop looking at the interwebs.
Yeah.
And go to sleep. Yeah. You know what? Go read an actual book because that make you tired.
Yeah.
That will make you tired. That's like the opposite of burpees. Go read a book, and just sit there, and you will get more tired.
Yeah, unless it's like a real exciting or interesting book.
Yeah,
I want to read some more.
Of course. Yeah. Don't read Blood Meridian before you go to bed.
Yeah, and you're a fast sleeper.
Yeah.
That thing where you don't need that much sleep. But
yeah,
the no sleep thing, that'll get you so quick. It'll promptly put you into a crash the next day.
Yeah, I don't know though. You can power through. Well, I don't know. If I can go the next, man. Even when you had the latest little baby, you came in here on a couple hours sleep.
Yeah,
you rolled in here ready to record. You sat here. You got after it.
Yeah, it's true. And there's all these different little.
Doesn't that make you realize?
Yeah.
It makes you realize how much more you can do. I think a lot of people.
Absolutely.
It's like this, and I don't want to go into this full subject right now. But the other day I did a 72-hour fast. Right? Yeah. No food for 72 hours. And there's a bunch of reasons we could talk about it. Maybe we'll do it on a later podcast. I will say this, though. One small thing. If you go 72 hours without eating, it recalibrates your hunger meter. Because we just think, I haven't had a donut in 2 hours. I'm starving. Right. Like, no, you're not starving. You're not even hungry. Not even close to hungry. So recalibrate that thing. Do a fast. Even if you just don't eat for 24 hours, you realize that most of your hunger signals that are coming to your brain are lies.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're lies like, don't eat, but I'm saying you don't need to eat. And how liberating is it? I was having so much fun. I was on this fast, and I'm just like, don't even need food. I don't need food. I don't need to eat. That's the ultimate control, right? Yep. What? I don't need food. Yep. Food is if you're weak. Yep. You know what I mean? It's that type of. You get that mentality going, and then guess what? Now you go on a travel day, and you go, oh man, I'm going to be in the airport all day today, and I don't know what I'm going to eat. Don't eat anything.
Yep, you're capable.
You're totally capable. You can go 72 hours. As a matter of fact, you can go like 30 days without food. So going 3 days is not that big of a deal. It's not even that big of a deal.
Yeah.
When I just did this 72-hour fast, it was just not like I did everything normal. I went to jiu-jitsu. I worked out. I did squats. I did pull-ups. Everything was normal. Mm-hmm. Everything was normal. It's not that big, crazy deal. We just get so accustomed to just feeding the machine all the time, and you gotta have a meal every 6 hours, and it's so at our fingertips.
Yeah,
but it's also this is what I realize. It's so inconvenient to have to eat all the time.
I know, man. That's whack. You're right.
So it's kind of nice to just eat, once a day. Put a big old steak on and get after it.
Yeah, I mean, and
again, there's all kinds of people. There's people that know. This is one of the reasons I don't like talking about this particular topic. It's because there's a lot of people that like study this and know a bunch about this and know all these facts. So if I go and do the research, well, I know the facts too, but I'm not considering quote them. Right? I don't have the in-depth knowledge that Peter Attia has on fasting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Dom D'Agostino. Those guys, they're they're doctors. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
I'm a knucklehead. And another thing, people, what did you do to prepare for your fast? I was like, I didn't eat. I was with Leif, and we were on a trip, and we had like a lunch, and then we did a gig that night, and I don't like to eat before I do a gig, and then after that, we stayed up a little bit and did some work, and then woke up in the morning, had an early flight, and then I came home and I wanted to train, so I worked out, and then I got done with that, and I went and did something else, and the next thing I knew it was 24 hours. Like, you know what? The next day I didn't feel too hungry, so I was like, and just held on. So it wasn't no preparation, just got after it. Again, people, don't do this.
This is anecdotal.
Check with a physician or whatever you got to do. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, as far as like a recommendation you should do, because you are different, and 72-hour fast, I dig it, man. But I think really kind of the point that you're making, or one of them anyway, I think is absolutely true. So a lot of it is like habitual hunger, but it goes beyond just like psychological habitual. It's like physiological. It's like, okay, I'm used to getting food every 4 hours. Right. So when the 4 hour mark comes around, physiologically, your stomach's going to be like, where's my food? Yep. Your mouth's going to be, where's my food? And then after a while, if you're like, hey, you don't get food this time, your stomach's going to go, okay, sometimes we don't get food. Yeah. So let's kind of act right, and then when the food comes, okay, we'll do that when that happens.
The recalibration is real, though, because then after I started eating again, and then the next day I go, I'm feeling hungry, I'm going to eat something. I go, I'm actually not hungry. So why am I eating? Why am I eating if I'm not hungry?
Yeah.
It's my mind is controlling me when I should be controlling my mind.
Yeah.
You know?
So, and that's another thing where there's nothing new, right? Your mind is so strong or whatever. So you can trick yourself, and this goes for sleep too. So if you think that you got 9 hours of sleep, you'll be way less tired than, okay, let's say two people, exact people, they're identical twins,
right?
Identical life experience, whatever. One guy believes the next morning, okay, they both got 8 hours sleep. One guy believes he only got 4 hours sleep, and one guy believes he got 10 hours sleep.
Typical placebo scenario.
Yeah, but that's how your mind,
Placebo.
it knows. Like, basically, it's your mind accommodating what it thinks the stimulus is. So the other twin, the 4 hour sleep believer, he's going to be way more tired. And he's going to be like, dang, where's that nap I was looking for and I need or whatever. The other guy,
imagine if you woke up every day and you were like, I only got 4 hours of sleep and I'm going to crush today.
Exactly right. That's my point.
I actually believe I work better on less sleep. How you like them apples?
Exactly. And that's what was going to be my point there, where you're like,
I've told you that before.
Yeah.
I've told Echo before that when we're getting ready to record the podcast, the day before I record the podcast, that night, I like to sleep less, like 4 hours, because I feel like it sharpens. I'll tell you what, to be quite honest, what I think it does, it brings my emotions a little closer to the surface.
So like you feel like I'm kind of under attack, so I better harden up right now. I better like get my troops ready. No,
it's not that. It's like, no, this is what it is. I can get more, like when I'm reading something, I'm more focused on it. I'm more into it.
Like actively?
Yeah, because I think when I'm well rested, I'm like rock solid, right? I'm just like, oh yeah. When I sleep less, I'm a little bit more exposed. I'm a little bit more vulnerable, right? Mentally.
Right.
And I need that.
Right.
Because otherwise I just become very detached. I become very detached. Yeah. And it's so I want it when I come in here, I want to be on the fringe a little bit.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what
I want to be exposed. I want to be walking in here being like, man, this is an intense
This
thing.
is not a walk in the park today.
No.
This is going to be hard, so let me get
ready.
I
want to be stressed a little bit when I come in here.
Yeah, man. I can dig it.
And I always feel that way. Like it's the same thing in jiu-jitsu. I feel better when I'm stressed and when I'm a little bit more stressed, a little bit more tension, a little bit more pressure on myself. I want to be there.
Yeah,
I don't want to be there all the time. And I'll tell you what, just so everybody knows, there's some days where I'm tired. Where I'm just tired, and sometimes I just need a power nap so bad. I'm literally falling asleep, and I hate that. That's a horrible feeling. But you know what? Elevate your feet, set an alarm clock for 8 minutes. Boom, you're gonna wake up feeling like Superman.
It's kind of like when people hit themselves before they go lift. Because it wages.
You mean they slap themselves? Yeah, for sure.
So on the surface, it looks like, oh, he's getting fired up. But yeah, why is he getting fired up? For the exact same reason that you're talking about. Because if it's like, boom, I'm getting these things where I got to kind of bounce back from, right? I'm under attack.
Hey, so I got a legitimate adrenaline rush too.
Right. So physiologically, it's the same exact sequence right there. But you're just doing it consciously. And instead of slaps, it's lack of sleep.
Yes.
Or what have you. There you go. That's the answer.
And everyone that's going to attack me on social media for not sleeping, not eating, and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
hey,
sorry. I don't know.
That's all you.
I don't know what to tell you.
Do it. Hey, Jocko.
I appreciate your advice. I do know I should sleep more. I do know I should eat better. Oh, I'm sorry.
But what does that even mean?
I don't even know.
Should. The word should. What does that even mean? You should. Anyway, that's a whole. Hey, Jocko, don't be you anymore.
Well, that's true.
Hey, be different than you. That's what that. Well, actually, the point what I was gonna say earlier is just like what you're saying. You're not citing all this science and making claims about how this is going to benefit you or nothing like that. That's not what you're doing. It is anecdotal, and I think the point is that if you push yourself through certain situations and you prove it to yourself that you can function just fine with 5 hours sleep rather than 8, 1 or 2 times or whatever, or however many, that you can do that. Like we talked about this before, where you get kind of dependent on certain things. And then to the point where you believe that you can't function without it, whether it be sleep, whether it be coffee in the morning, whatever, or eating every 4 hours. Like when I was really into like weightlifting and bodybuilding type stuff, I remember thinking, man, I gotta hurry up and eat. It's 4 hours or whatever. And then kind of later on in life, man, I haven't eaten yet today, and it's late in the day. Mm-hmm. I'm fine.
I'm
not losing my gains. Yeah, whatever gains, but
game, whatever.
Yeah. So once you prove it to yourself, it's like if you stay up all night when you have work the next day and you do your work, when you go to bed, you can be like, hey, if I had to, I could do that again.
That is another thing that I enjoy about pushing those envelopes is it feels really good to go to bed when you've been awake for a long time. It feels really good to eat a meal once you haven't eaten for a while. You appreciate it more.
Yeah, that's
good.
That's true, but that's kind of a psycho way of invoking appreciation. Okay, in my opinion.
Understood.
Next question. Oh, back to the Iron Swan. That's it.
Yeah,
that's the song.
Yes,
just a reminder.
Give it a try.
Yep.
The sword.
The sword.